Alright, I want to lube up my swing arm bearings. So to do that, I'm going to need to take off the rear wheel, the rear shocks, torque linkage. I already taken off the rear brake rod, and the final drive case needs to come off as well. So start with these shocks. This torque linkage is the next thing I'm going to unhook. Okay, I'm going to pull the axle nut off of here now. I loosened it up before. I should just be able to tap this axle out of here. I pulled this spacer out from the other side, and now I'll just shift the wheel to the right to disengage it from this final gear case. There, that just pops loose, and this wheel should just come out of here. Whoops, you get the idea. An idea what this wheel gear looks like. Final drive. I'm gonna take these 4 nuts off and pull this final drive out of here. Okay, with those nuts removed, this final gear case should just pop off here. Just like that. Okay, the next thing I gotta do is pop off my swing arm cap and remove this retainer plate. It's held in place by a couple Allen screws. I should say 3 Allen screws. And that's what that retainer plate looks like. Now that that retainer plate's out of the way, I gotta remove this bearing shaft. So there's a little threaded hole that I can thread this screw into. And then I'll get a pair of pliers and pull on that. Okay, so I wasn't able to pull this out using this screw. What I ended up doing is first I drove out the other side using a punch, and then I put a rod all the way through the swing arm hole and hammered on the other end to pop this side out. So mine were a little stuck. Okay, now that I got the swing arm off of here, I can just pull off these seals and pull out the inner race of the bearing, and then I'll just pack that with grease and put it all back together. Do that on both sides. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is grease this outer race for the swing arm bearing, and then pack the bearing with this moly grease and put that back in there, and then cap it with the dust seal. Okay, I have my packed bearing. I'll just set that into the outer race. Sit it down in there. Spin that. Make sure it's lubed good. Feels pretty good. And put that dust cap. I was able to just press this dust cap into place. Now I'll do the same on the other side. Alright, so I got my bearing axle lubed up with some moly grease. I'll just bring my swing arm up into position and slide this guy in there. There we go. Okay, now I got my axles at both sides of the swing arm. I'm just going to put my adjuster plate on here, or retainer plate, whatever this is called. Torque these guys up to 69 inch-pounds. Stuff. Okay, now I got those retainer plates torqued up on both sides. I'm going to adjust the clearance of the swing arm. Now I want the clearance to be between, or the clearance should be around 2.5 millimeters. So it says to use an adjustable shim. So I went and with my caliper I found out that this Allen key across the flats is exactly 2.5 millimeters. So I'll stick that in there as my shim, and then I'll tighten up this adjuster until that swing arm is tight against the shim. Tighten down the lock nut, take out the shim, tighten the other side up until it touches, tighten its lock nut, and then I should be good. Okay, so I tighten this up until I'm touching the shim on the other side. Now I'm just gonna tighten my lock nut. There, I'll just double check my shim. Still good on this side. I still got the right clearance. I'll tighten up my adjuster bolt on the other side. Just wanted to show you where I had this shim on this left side. So I took my Allen key and I just slid it in between the swing arm and the frame and tightened that right adjuster bolt until it was touching that, and then took that out and tightened up my left adjuster bolt, and now I got a really nice smooth action on the swing arm. So I can put my dust covers back on. Before putting these dust covers back on, I put a thin bead of silicone around the edge. Just hold that in there when the bike's vibrating. Just give it a little extra stick, because they're known to fall out. So hopefully with that silicone on there, it will stay there until I need to take it off again. A little bit popped out. I'll just scrape that off.